I'm Adam Booth and you're watching Sporting Icons.
So before we cover the role of Jay Deas in the camp of Deontay Wilder, let's sidestep just a little bit and let me just mention this particular thing, okay? Now, ultimately a boxer, and I think sometimes boxers forget, that he or she is the boss, okay? So a boxer can employ trainer or trainers, can employ a manager, managers, can employ a promoter, can employ an agent, can employ a cutman, woman, can employ advisors, whatever it may be. But ultimately, the boxer is the boss. And a lot do forget that. Now, when it comes to, say, a manager, what are you employing a manager for? Well, a manager is there to take away the headache of contract negotiations. Okay, so a manager's job is to not only get you the fight and be the go-between into either making a fight or receiving offers for certain fights, he or she will take away a lot of that headache. So their role is to get you the fights and get the most amount of money that they possibly can. Okay, with a promoter's job is quite literally, it says it in the title, to promote you, to hype up your profile. That's what a promoter is there for. An advisor is pretty much a manager in that as well, isn't he? A cutman, again, self-explanatory. But when it comes to a coach's job is to train you, to coach you. That's what a trainer is all about, okay? And ultimately, as much as you are the boss, you are employing that trainer to be your boss when it's time to train. So you listen to your trainer. Your trainer knows best. That's what you're employing him or her for, isn't it? So when it comes to, say, Jay Deas. Now, Jay Deas has been there from the beginning for Deontay Wilder, much like Mark Breland was. In fact, it was Jay Deas, according to Mark Breland, it was Jay Deas that reached out to Mark Breland to say that I've got this young kid, he's walked into my gym, he looks pretty good, he could be something in the future. Would you like to come and help me work and train with this young lad, Deontay Wilder? And that's why Mark Breland came in, because Jay Deas doesn't have the experience of a coach. But it was Jay Deas' gym, apparently. So I can only presume that the reason that Jay Deas is there is because this young lad, Deontay Wilder, who walked into the gym, is pretty much just showing loyalty to him. Okay? Now, Jay Deas, he is, or has been for all of Deontay Wilder's career, he's been officially the head coach, even though he hasn't been doing the training. Sure, he's been taking pad work and all that kind of thing, but he's also co-manager. Now, for most scenarios, the standard for a manager is that they will get 25% of a fighter's purse. A trainer, even though a trainer is with the fighter day in, day out, gets about 10%. In my opinion, it should be the other way around, but hey, it is what it is. And depending on where the fighter is in his or her career, will be dependent, I think, for the most part, on how much a manager will take. Some managers will just take 25%. I don't care how much you're earning, 25%. Some will be like, no, don't give me nothing, or just give me 5%, or whatever it may be. When you get to a certain point, when you start earning good money, then we'll start talking about the 25%, etc. Okay? But again, it depends on the kind of manager that you have. So when you look at Jay Deas, what kind of percentage is he getting from Deontay Wilder? What's his role in the camp of Deontay Wilder? Well, him being, say, co-trainer, him being co-manager, of course, the other manager is Shelly Finkel. Of course, Wilder also has Haymon as advisor, which effectively is a bit of a manager in that as well. Of course it is. So why do you need Jay Deas manager when you've got an experienced Shelly Finkel and an experienced Haymon? What do you need Jay Deas to be your manager for? What's his role? Is it just to arrange transport to and from the gym, or to certain venues, or to arrange sparring? Is that pretty much his role? Are you paying him, however much you're paying him, for those little bits? Something that, let's be honest, Shelly Finkel could deal with. Haymon and his team could deal with. So what do you really need Shelly Finkel in a managerial capacity for? What do you need Jay Deas as a trainer for when you had an experienced Mark Breland in your team, or whoever else he could be bringing in? For example, apparently now Malik has been promoted to be a more prominent role in the camp of Deontay Wilder. Malik Scott, again, who has very limited to no experience when it comes to coaching fighters. He's experienced in the ring, but he's also experienced on the big stage to run away. Look at the Luis Ortiz fight. Getting knocked out by Derek Chisora, clean. Getting hit on the gloves, and what it looks like, my own opinion on that one is that he took a dive. That's what it looks like. Did he take a dive? I have no idea, but that's what it looks like on the video footage. So that's the kind of guy that he's now got in his team in a more prominent role, not an experienced Mark Breland. And again, according to Mark Breland, Jay Deas is almost the lackey for Deontay Wilder. He's the yes man for Deontay Wilder. Jay Deas like, no, don't talk to Deontay Wilder today. He's not in a very good mood. Now, if he doesn't want to jump rope, he doesn't have to jump rope. If he doesn't want to hit the heavy bag, he doesn't have to hit the heavy bag. If he doesn't want to do this, he doesn't have to do that. Jay Deas is the yes man for Deontay Wilder. That's what it appears he's employed to do. Of course, the gym is owned by Jay Deas as well. But Wilder's earned enough money now, surely he can just go to a better gym or build his own gym, whatever it may be. So what do you really need Jay Deas for? Let's look at the post-fight press conference after the Wilder Fury Part 2 fight. Wilder, of course, he was in a pretty bad condition, so couldn't come out and do the post-fight press conference himself. So Shelly Finkel and Jay Deas, his two managers, were doing a press conference for Wilder. What was it that Jay Deas said? Well, he threw Mark Breland under the bus by saying he shouldn't have thrown in the towel because Deontay Wilder has always specifically said, no matter what happens in the fight, you don't throw in the towel. Like he's Apollo Creed and his trainers are Rocky Balboa, should have thrown in the towel but didn't. That's what it appears, that Jay Deas was quite happy to listen to Deontay Wilder's instructions by not throwing in the towel. Why? Because he's afraid to lose his job. That's what it appears, that he don't give a damn about Wilder. Well, I'm sure he does. Of course, he wants to see him win, because obviously while he wins, he's going to keep on getting paid, of course. But ultimately, he's a yes man for Wilder. He doesn't care. If Wilder is getting battered from pillar to post, look at the fight. He had blood coming out of his ear. His eyes were gone. His legs were gone. I can criticise Mark Breland by saying Mark Breland should have thrown in the towel a couple of rounds before he did. Don't get me wrong, I think the referee was about to stop that fight anyway. I mean, there's no way that the referee saw the towel come in from that particular angle. Okay? It's not until after he stopped the fight and Wilder complained, he suddenly realised that there's a towel on the floor. And they went, oh, actually, it weren't me. Your team threw in the towel. Anyway, it is what it is. But I think that Jay Deas is just a lackey for Deontay Wilder. You don't need him. He doesn't need Jay Deas of what it is that I see. What's Jay Deas' role? Why? Because he owns this particular gym, as I said before. Does he need that particular gym? He's employing him as a manager, even though he's already got an experienced Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel, who's been around the likes of Mike Tyson that before, around the likes of the Klitschko brothers for quite some time. He's got Al Haymon. We all know about the kind of roles that Al Haymon that's played. What does he need Jay Deas for as manager? What does he need him for as trainer when, according to Mark Breland, Jay Deas has never even wrapped the hands of Deontay Wilder? So what exactly is Jay Deas' role? What is Jay Deas' experience? Very limited by all accounts. He's never been a professional boxer himself, as far as we know, or an amateur or anything like that. In fact, what I have heard is that his experience before Wilder came along was training some women. Nothing wrong with training women at all, but ultimately, I think Jay Deas has been piggybacking off of Shelly Finkel, off Al Haymon. Previously, before then, Oscar De La Hoya. Then, of course, with Mark Breland in the training camp. He's been piggybacking. He's just been the one, he's been the coffee getter. If Wilder wants a coffee, Jay Deas will make sure it's got enough sugar and milk in it. That seems to be the role of Jay Deas. I don't understand why he's getting a paycheck. I don't understand how Mark Breland, who done the right thing, who done what a coach should do, which is throw in the towel. Somebody with experience, who's been there himself, who's been knocked out, who's been hurt in fights. Jay Deas wouldn't know what that's like. He has no idea. And going by his comments after the Wilder fight, quite clearly, he doesn't give a damn about Wilder. He's quite happy to listen to Wilder's instructions because he's the yes man for Deontay Wilder. I don't understand the role of Jay Deas. I don't know why he's in there. In my opinion, you don't need him. I can't see why he would possibly need Jay Deas when he already has other people in those roles. Just employ him as your servant. Just put like a little pinny French maid outfit on him. That's pretty much the role of Jay Deas, isn't it? That's all it is. Anyway, you all drop your thoughts below in the comment section. Fill it up. Make sure you are subscribed. And I'll catch you all in the next video.